Forget gurus. Forget anyone claiming to be an online business expert without going through the challenges of entrepreneurship themselves. The Real Money, Real Business podcast is here to prove the best insights in online business comes from your fellow online business builders. We dig into stories of entrepreneurs selling their business on the Empire Flippers marketplace so that you can learn how they made their business profitable, how they overcame obstacles, and what lessons they learned in their online journey. If you want to take your business and your knowledge to the next level, you've come to the right podcast. Let's get started.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Real Money, Real Business podcast. I'm Michelle, and today we have Ilke on the show, who's selling a SaaS business on the Empire Flippers market. Hey Ilke, welcome to the show. How are you today?
I'm great, Michelle. Thank you for having me. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Thanks for asking, and thanks for making the time to come on today. Before we dive into the details, let's go over a brief summary of your business. It's a SaaS business in the business niche created in November 2016. The average revenue for the business is $5,567 per month, and it makes an average of $3,083 per month in net profit. Included in this sale is a domain and all site content and files, supplier contracts and relationships, social media accounts for Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, LinkedIn, and Quora, Shopify and Stripe accounts, and an email list with 1,100 subscribers. For everyone listening, you can visit empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing 57603 to learn more about this business. Or you can unlock this listing to start your due diligence if you're interested in purchasing this asset. So, Ilke, now let's hear from you. You've had this business for, is it about 5 years now?
Yeah, I guess so.
And you've built it up into a pretty substantial source of income. So what can you tell us about your background in building and running an online business?
Actually, this is my first startup. I'm a mid-career entrepreneur. Before this, I worked as a marketeer for multinational companies. And when it comes to my business partner, who is also the owner of our technology, this is his second company. We used to be colleagues. We used to work together at the cell phone company Nokia. And then we came up with this idea and quit corporate life to build our own company.
Oh, that's really cool that you've had such great success with your first startup. So how did you guys come up with the idea to start this?
It was a time when e-commerce was getting popular. Me and my co-founder, we were also shopping online. And at that time, we felt alone while browsing through web stores. There was no one to help us with suggestions. So we decided to help online shoppers who experienced the same pain that we've experienced. So our initial idea was a B2C business. Then we started conversations with e-commerce merchants. That was when we realized that online merchants were willing to pay for what we had to offer. So we initially thought that the end consumer would be what we would make money off, but then it turned out that the e-commerce merchants, we had the potential to become our clients. And surprisingly, we made our first sale to an e-commerce company without any single line of code. We learned about the business requirements from this first customer of ours and then started coding. We provided them product recommendations in the form of a website extension that was our first product. Then we used my business partner's bioinformatics thesis to come up with a microsegmentation algorithm for e-commerce. And in time, we added the AI component and our business grew to become an AI-powered e-commerce personalization platform.
That is a really cool story.
Thank you.
So how does your business primarily make money?
As you said, it's a SaaS business and we apply usage-based pricing. The e-commerce merchant installs our Shopify or WooCommerce app or integrates with our REST API. And the merchant uses the service for free for 14 days. If everything goes well, the merchant becomes a paid user and starts paying a monthly fee based on the web store's usage.
And why did you guys choose this business model? You had mentioned that you were thinking about going into e-commerce yourselves. So, and I know that you said that, that you had been speaking to merchants a bit, but what made you decide to take the SaaS route instead of going into e-commerce?
E-commerce very hard and it needed lots of funding, outsider funding. And we were a club business from the very first start. And to be honest, the funding issue also forced us to become a real SaaS business. So I can say that it was an informed decision. Because, when you are a bootstrapping startup, you are pretty much dependent on our clients' revenues. And the best way to ensure a steady cash flow was to have a subscription business with a monthly growth potential. So, switching to a real SaaS business model really helped us grow. And regarding the other pricing models, we also experimented with contribution-based commissions. But we realized that our customers, which were mainly small to medium-sized online merchants, they did not welcome the idea of paying commissions. Instead, they wanted to have an idea about what they're going to pay at the end of the month. This is how we started the usage-based pricing. And that is a model that resonated well with our target segment.
So you guys have put a lot of effort into building up this successful company. So why have you decided to sell the business now?
There are mainly two reasons. First, we would like to focus on new business opportunities. And the second one is, being a self-funded business, we lack the capital required to grow the company.
Well, I'm really curious because you have such a great foundation story. Is there anything that you've learned from this business that you will apply to future businesses?
To be honest, in every stage of the business, we had several and valuable learnings. But I can say that fail fast and fail early was one of the lessons that I find precious. This is something that I will keep in mind for my future endeavors. For me, an entrepreneur should be able to make mistakes and learn from those mistakes. The earlier the lessons learned, the better. This kind of a mindset needs to be supported with continuous experiments and customer discovery. I believe those have been my biggest learnings from this business.
And is there something that worked particularly well when you were building this business that maybe you were surprised by how well it worked, or
our inbound arm, it really worked because, we received most of our subscribers via organic search on the app stores or with the organic search from the search engines. So that was something that really worked well.
And you mentioned earlier that one of the most valuable lessons was to fail early. And so can you give us an example of something that didn't work for your business?
For example, this commission-based pricing, started applying it to our business. And then we quickly realized that it didn't work. So overnight, we changed it from a commissions-based pricing model to a usage-based pricing model. It was kind of a fail fast, fail early type of strategy for us.
Well, you know what? I mean, being able to retool your business that quickly it's such a great thing to have as an entrepreneur, that mindset of being reactive.
Yeah, entrepreneurs sometimes think that what they have developed, what they have built is precious. But it's not if it does not resonate well with your users. You need to understand what your client or your user really asks for. There's no way in insisting something that doesn't work.
We've been hearing that a lot lately from successful sellers, the importance of listening to your clients and really incorporating that feedback and making your business better.
Yeah, that's the strongest point of customer discovery. It's, you need to continuously discover what your customer is looking after.
Well, speaking of your customers, where does the majority of your traffic come from?
I can say that we have a well-optimized website. This is how we get more than 75% of our traffic organically from search engines. The US, India, and the UK are the top countries. And when you have a look at the split on Shopify, this is also something similar to our website. And the split on WordPress, there's no country split. Every country is able to sign up to our service.
And what are you currently doing in terms of marketing?
Content marketing has been our strongest suite after we changed our business model to a real SaaS business model. We are also using Shopify ads because they work well.
And if you were to keep the business, what are some ways that you would try to grow it?
I can say that we are at a very favorable situation in terms of customer acquisition because our lifetime value over customer acquisition cost ratio is more than 10. So spending a good amount of marketing money may have the company achieve tremendous growth numbers. And to be honest, being a self-funded startup, lack of capital to support marketing has been our biggest obstacle for growth. So a buyer that is able to spend a few bucks on marketing can have very good growth.
And just sort of stepping back a bit, what are some of the other major opportunities for growth that you see with this business?
The e-commerce platforms are getting very popular, and also there are different kind of developer companies on these platforms. So in order to be more visible on the e-commerce platforms, having more than one app might be good. So I believe splitting the current solutions into 3 or 4 smaller but more targeted apps might be a good idea. And if this action is supported with a good amount of marketing budget, then I believe high growth stats can be achieved.
And kind of looking at your business as it's run right now, I believe it's either you or your co-founder is currently doing all of the programming for the business.
Yeah, my business partner, who is a technical co-founder, he is responsible for the technical maintenance, the customer support, the technical support part of the business. And I'm responsible for the other tasks, mainly the commercial tasks, like, reviewing the site metrics, performing customer outreach, lead generation, monitoring finances, and other stuff. And in total, it takes about 10 hours for us to maintain the business because we have automated most of the tests.
So it's a pretty hands-off business at this point.
Exactly.
So what skills or requirements do you think there are for someone who's not familiar with the niche or business model?
Some coding skills might be required, but, it can also be outsourced very easily. We are a .NET platform, and we use Angular, JavaScript, database management like Elasticsearch and Mongo, and, a developer who can work with these languages can be valuable for the business. But I can say it can also be outsourced. And on the marketing side, the content marketing, blog management, and paid advertising knowledge would be valuable.
And what do you think are the biggest risks with this business that a buyer should be aware of?
With this business, we have been very conscious about how we treat our customers. That is how we got 4.9 out of 5 review score on Shopify and a 5 out of 5 in WordPress. And we achieved nearly no churn in the last 12 months. So if the buyer is willing to grow the business and keep the churn ratio low, they should also be ready to give an excellent customer support.
I think that is an excellent point, and those reviews are fantastic.
Yeah, it was blood, sweat, and tears.
I'm sure. So, okay, would you commit to a non-compete?
Yes. We go out of business.
Okay. And how much support are you offering buyers?
We are offering 2 orientation calls in the first phase, like 1.5 hour calls, and then maybe 4 bi-weekly calls for 8 weeks. It might be good. And then we are also offering 8 weeks of email support to help ease the transition. And additionally, our technical co-founder is able to offer paid consultancy and support for up to 20 hours per month for 6 months after the free support period.
All right, that's great. So
Yeah.
are you open to negotiating something like an earnout?
To be honest, this is not something we would prefer, but, we would be open to, hearing proposals.
And just before we wrap up, if you're putting yourself in the shoes of a buyer, why do you think this is a business worth buying?
Because it's a high growth business, there is AI involved and it works with the e-commerce platforms. And, it's now covering 2.5 million web shops. The lifetime value over customer acquisition ratio is very high, more than 10, and it makes growth possible. And our solution package is also an inexpensive yet high ROI package. So I believe it's a great product to buy. It's a great business to buy.
And is there anything else that you'd like to share about the business that we might not have covered?
This particular niche is growing. As you know, e-commerce is growing and the services that are also helping e-commerce merchants are growing. So, and there is the technology that we create is something unique to us. So, when you combine all of these aspects, I believe this is a great business. I might not be that objective, but these are the facts.
No, I think those are excellent points. And you're exactly right. We're actually getting ready to cover this e-commerce boom across the world. And, obviously the pandemic sort of accelerated this, but it's something that's the trend's not reversing. So I agree with you. It's primed in a good spot. Well, I really want to thank you for your time today. It's been a pleasure to learn more about you and your business.
Thank you very much, Michelle. It was great.
All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. To learn more and see if this listing has already been sold, head over to empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing 57603. If you're watching this on YouTube, click the link in the description to go straight to the listing. Once you've unlocked this listing, you'll be given everything you need to know about this business. So until next time, enjoy your digital journey.